In the mix
with the commish, Nate.
There's only two of us here, so I hit the wrong button already. Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL, the world's oldest and longest online CFM in the world. You know me, I'm the commish, the founder, Nate, and my buddy sitting over here next to me to my left. I don't know, he's technically in front of me, but to y'all's right is going to be my buddy Maniac, the owner and commish of The Deuce. Mr. Maniac, how you doing on a Monday back to work?
It's the new year.
I laugh,
but
the older I get, the more I'm like, I don't know that I'm looking forward to going back to work per se, but I'm looking forward to getting back to the routine. Just like I am such a routine person. When I'm out of the routine, it's hard to kind of get my hands around it again. So I'm glad to be back in the routine of things.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's nice to have the time off, but it's us as humans, we got to work, we got to get our routines down, and when you get kind of thrown out of that routine, no matter how nice the break is, it's always nice to kind of get back into the swing of things and get things rolling.
Yep. Well, let's talk about what is rolling right now. Looks like I got a little mess up here. Things not the way I want them to be. No. I think they are the way they want. Hold on. This is what happens whenever you have. Well, I almost said something I was going to have to pause myself on. I was going to say a really small monitor in front of you, but that's, you know what I mean. I'm trying to talk about, I've got this little monitor that you are on, and I was like, that looks like that's not right, but it is right. So we can talk about some games here in season 118. We're already into week number 4. It's crazy how fast we're going. And guys like Bird and Beal, they just want to go faster. I'm like, I need some 5-day advances in here sprinkled in time to time. I want to go shoot with the boys sometimes. Week number 1, the Browns and Bengals played to a classic game. First season in all Madden. So a lot of us had no clue what to expect as we moved into season 118, which is why we wanted to get a couple of games in before Maniac and I started to break this down. Bengals and Browns played, and Denver comes out on top in Buddy Bowl number 89. I don't know which one it is by now. 20-10. Colin beats Priest 31-27 in a classic game. Cincy Bird comes out with a 14-12 victory over Bill. Not the start that Bill thought he was going to have. You got Bill ready to quit after this week. Mr. Roger and his Houston Texans win 25-24 over Massimo. Joker with a 48-45 victory over the Texans. And Byron, Joker just can't find any defense. We're going to come back and talk about some of these games. Jacksonville and Big Hurt fall to Lost Sniper 42-35. Dallas drops week 1 against Trey 38-22. Kevin 38, Twinkie 33. Too many T's in there. I kind of messed it up and stumbled on it a bit. J Bowles 34, Luca 24, D-Money 23, me 3. This was as devastating as this score looks. It was not an enjoyable experience. Meek with a 31-20 victory over Tim. J Bowles with a 24-14 victory over Nicesonger. Mr. Rod with a 34-21 victory over Birdman. Baltimore and Nipples with a 27-24 victory over Pepper. Your Arizona Cardinals, Mr. Maniac, with a 31-27 victory over Zoe. And finally, wrapping up week number 1, the Brother Bowl number 3, I think this is, Randy, with a 35-10 victory over his brother James. Which of these games you want to go and talk about?
Man, there could be so many. I think the Buffalo and the Tennessee one is intriguing, not just from the simple fact that it was our first week in all Madden, and these guys just went in and just put up points. Like, who cares about defense? We're just putting up points. And but I think this was like also one that kind of raised eyebrows too. Like, Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns in this game. 4 passing, and he had 2 rushing, and he had 139 yards rushing, which is insane. don't even know how that's possible, but anyway, but
He had a long of
the
62. It's like every run was 62 yards.
yeah, you get a long run, So, but I mean, anytime a player puts up 6 touchdowns and basically, I mean, he had nearly 500 yards of offense just himself. So that was an impressive stat. The one thing that wasn't impressive in this game was defense. There was none, absolutely none. And then you see a lot of the top tacklers were DBs, safeties, cornerbacks, and stuff. That's when like, yeah, your front seven's not doing a very good job because you're not getting any tackles with those guys. They're running free in the secondary. So, but it could be these guys were just getting used to the new settings and stuff as well. But it definitely looked like there was no defense to be seen in this game.
804 total yards to 662 yards. We're 3 weeks in. I'm going to play my 4th game tonight. I haven't even got 804 total yards on the entire season. Joker just can't play defense. He's trying to blame the settings. He's got a mailbag question about the defense, but brother, this ain't a settings thing. This is a you thing. I don't know what's going on over there in Buffalo, but he's got the offense figured out. Tip to Byron, though, rebuilding a really bad roster. Byron's quiet his second time around, but I'd rather a quiet Byron than a no Byron. This guy is a very good player. He is just building a really crappy team, and you can see he's got, I think, a rookie quarterback. No, that's right. This was an import quarterback, Mr. Shane Gaffney. Didn't you have a quarterback named Gaffney or something like that in Atlanta? I thought you had a guy in Atlanta. Anyway, I'm chasing a rabbit hole here. Anyway, he's building this team around Shane. He's got to find some running backs here. You can see he's got Josh Jacobs and Pollard. He's got to get some offensive linemen built up. So even with all of that still building, he still put up 662 yards. And there was only 1 turnover in this game, which is kind of crazy to think about. And that came from Joker and the Buffalo Bills. A great week number 1. We did make some tweaks, mainly because I played D-Money, and I realized, oh, God, the speed threshold's way too high. If we don't change this, we're going to have some serious problems here. So I tweaked it by 5, cut it in half. It's at 45, not 40, and I feel like there's much, much more balance now. Let's look at week number 2. D-Money beats Tim 27 to 11. Nipples beats your Arizona Cardinals 24-21. Epic game there. Las Vegas and J-Bows with a 42-24 victory over James, who missed a lot of the offseason. He was very busy during the holidays, and I think that really hurt his team. I'm hoping he can put the pieces back together and turn things around. My Saints come away with a 30-25 victory over Cincyberg, who is going to be missing here for a bit, and I think might be in full tank mode and deal players out for cheap to his buddies mode. I don't know what's going on. I'm just kind of picking there, but I got lucky and came away with the victory. Pepper bounces back in week number 2, 24-17 over Denbrew. Lost Sniper goes 2-0 with a 34-31 win over Massimo. This came down to, I think, either the last play or one of the last plays of the game. Lost Sniper hits a receiver. He breaks 2 tackles. He takes it to the house. The New England Patriots win. Byron barely loses another one. 2 games to start out 0-2 by 3 points. 14-17 lost to Big Herd. Twinkie bounces back in week number 2, 21-7 over Priest. Buffalo, again, cannot play any defense. He drops to Dwayne 41-39 in this one. Luca bounces back 31-30 over Nicesonger. Nicesonger starting to find some offense. Now he's just got to figure out that defense over there. Zoe bounces back in week number 2, 13-10 over Meek. Trey continues his red hot streak here, 27-10 over Little Koch. Randy continues to stay red hot, 33-28 over Bird. I watched the first half of this game and thought Bird was going to blow him away, and then somehow Randy made a great comeback in that one. And Bird almost got away with it right there at the end, made a big play. Randy just, man, he knows how to make big plays towards the ends of games. The Giants, Bill bounced back 23-16 over Kevin. Rod stays hot 37-24 over Colin. And then finally, Mr. Roger goes 2-0, 33-14 over Jay Glaze. Which game you want to talk about in week number 2?
I have to give some props to Roger. He's like, won't you be my neighbor? Because he is on fire. I'm telling you. Man, there's some good games. And I like the fact that we're not just seeing like every game 40 points. They're just like that San Francisco Seattle game, 13-10. I mean, that's kind of cool to see that. But then you also got some guys that are scoring some points as well. So definitely, though, I like to look at that Jacksonville Tennessee game. I think that one, if you look at it on the box score, I mean, most of the points were scored in the first half. He only had 7 points scored in that second half. So a lot of good defense played in that second half of that game. And then the fact, too, here, you look, we had more interceptions thrown than touchdown throws, which is not very common lately. So that's kind of a unique stat there. So both guys were struggling with their quarterbacks a little bit. But I tell you what, for the Jaguars, this guy running the ball, tooting, man, he was tooting right along. So 15 carries, 132 yards, and a touchdown. I think he's been like one of the top OMFL fantasy football players in the past 2 or 3 seasons. I think he's like normally finishing in the top 5 for the rushing. So that's definitely somebody you probably want to put on your fantasy football team. You know, if you didn't, maybe look at putting him on there next year. Not a whole lot of passing. I mean, just trying to be efficient. You know, Reed was the leading pass catcher here with 82 yards, 4 receptions, and a touchdown. It looked like it was more defensive battles. I mean, you had the points scored in the first quarter. I mean, the first half and the second half, guys buckled down and they were able to shut each other down. Tennessee did make a score late. And again, like I said, it's kind of nice to see that there was more interceptions and touchdowns. You obviously don't want to see that every time, but again, that just kind of lets you know, like, hey, things are working a little bit better than what they were. So,
yeah, Zoe and Roger said this was a weather game, which would also explain that score. But even with that being said, there was not a lot of offense going in this one. You still had guys throw a lot of interceptions, and probably why the Jaguars actually had to stick to the run. Well, the weather may have played a bigger effect in him actually winning that game. Let's look at week number 3. And then we're going to move on to the next subject, which is predictions. We're going to give our predictions about what we think is going to happen here in the OMFL. Rod with a 27-14 victory over Kevin. Tampa Bay's a little sluggish coming out of the gates, but he's also had some big-time opponents. My big-time opponent schedule is now starting this week. Cincyberg bounces back 35-14 over Roger. My Saints with a 27-9 victory over Priest. Massimo hanging up 44 points on Mr. James, 44-24. Colin keeps it close against Luca, but loses 13-10. Dwayne continues these high-scoring, close games, 40-37 over Lost Sniper. Carolina with a 1-point win, and Birdman 1-point victory over Mr. Beal. And the Giants on the road there, 31-30. Buffalo Joker continues to give up 38, 39 points, 37 here in this one to Twinkie, but he wins 45-37. Your Arizona Cardinals with a big time game, 30-6 over Byron. D-Money stays red hot, 34-20 over Denver, who started out red hot in Buddy Bowl, but sort of hit a little bit of a skid here. Then Trey continues his red hot streak, 27-3 over Jay Glaze. He seems to be on a mission this year. Jay Bowles with a 45-40 victory over Tim. Tim keeps dropping these really close games. Zoe with a 20-0 victory over Nicehanger. always impressive in the OMFL when you can hold somebody to no points. That just doesn't happen no matter who the player is. So big time victory there for Zoe and the 49ers. Meek bounces back with a 38-35 victory over Nipples. That's a big victory there for Seattle early in this season. Big Hurt talking about big victories with a 42-34 victory over Randy. There was a couple points in this game. It wasn't even that close. It was like, holy cow, what is going on in this game? Big time win there for Jacksonville. And then finally, Little Koch wraps up week number 3 with a 40-20 victory over Pepper and the Steelers. Which one of these in week number 3 do you want to talk about?
I mean, there's so many. Again, a lot of good games. I'm glad to see that your New Orleans Saints are starting to get a little momentum going. The Cowboys game in New England, I think, gives Lost Sniper some credit. He actually had Dwayne on the ropes in this game.
Gave up 27 in the fourth
27
quarter.
points. I was saying there was one point where I looked at this and I was like, man, Lost is fixing kind of take it to Dwayne. And then I got busy doing something else. The next thing I know, I come back and I look in the chat and it's like, Lost is like saying, oh, good game, great comeback. And I was like, what? So yeah, 27 points in the fourth. That is like saying, okay, let's put it in gear, guys, and score some points, because that's what he did. And Dwayne's been kind of doing it a little unorthodox, I think, compared to what we were kind of being used to, because the first couple weeks his running back was being held in check, and he hadn't been getting the rushing yards, but he was able to, in that fourth quarter, to get McMullen going, because at the start of this game,
the way his season started out, he might say fart too.
Yeah, at the start of this game, he was farting around, and the defense for the New England Patriots was actually holding McMullen in check, and I thought, oh, here we go again. Dwayne's not going to get any yards, and then lo and behold, 213. So he got something going with the rushing attack in that fourth quarter. 2 touchdowns though for McMullen. I think one guy I had to give props to Lost here. He's putting up some good points too, and he's also getting his rushing attack going. And I tell you, watch out for this 2-headed monster he's got going, Henderson and Peoples, that rookie that he picked up. Both these guys are going to be something else. And between those guys, he had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's not only getting it done passing, because he's been pretty prolific for passing, but as you can see here, if he struggles a little bit, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, he can lean on that rushing attack and still get a lot of offensive output. Ricards, you got to always know where he's at. He's always open. So you got to put double team on that guy a lot of times if you can. But he's going to do his thing. But again, like I said, it's kind of, Dwayne's like a very balanced offensive coach, and he'll have 200 yards passing and he'll have 200 yards rushing, or, somewhere in that neighborhood. He's very careful with the ball. But he did actually have 2 interceptions in this game and stuff. So struggled first, but man, what a comeback. 27 points in that fourth quarter to get the victory here.
Yeah, it was a really good game. One that's got to hurt when you score 23 in the second half, but you give up 27 there in the fourth quarter. And there were no sacks in this game either. So you have plenty of time in the pocket. Now, I'm assuming that pocket collapsed, especially when you're playing Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, but still, that one just slips through your fingers. And you're right, Dwayne is doing it very unorthodox, but if we know anything about Dwayne, the guy's going to figure out how to win. He's going to figure out how to maneuver some things. He's going to figure out how to get his team right back on track. Again, I've seen this guy literally win and get in the playoffs with a 67 overall quarterback. I still don't know how he did that. The guy just wins. And when he's got the team that he's built, I mean, he's got Villavea over there. He's got Ellis over there. Like, I don't know how he's put this team was already good out of the box. Now he's put this super team together with Mullins and Faber and all these other pieces he's added on defense. He's going to be a problem because he's going to continue to get all Madden figured out. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, give some predictions. Be right back.
Howdy there, y'all. Have you ever had trouble staying fresh in your Madden game? Has your FPR really stunk it up? Do you reek from sweaty gameplay? If you answered yes to any of these, we can help. We are proud to tell you about a great new product. We call it Dream Bean. Yes, that's right. Dream Bean works hard to get rid of stale Madden gameplay, penetrates deep into the pores to reach those stubborn, hard-to-reach FPR issues. Turn that Madden reek into Madden chic with Dream Bean, state-of-the-art design that gets the job done. We use all natural ingredients to create the best-smelling, cleaning FPR product on the market today. So don't delay. Call now and get yourself Dream Bean clean. Operators are standing by. Call 188-FPR-CLEAN. Call now.
Get yourself some Dream Bean, especially when it comes to these coaching trees. About to drive me absolutely nuts. Let's start with the AFC North. We got Nipples and the Ravens, Denver and the Browns, Pepper and the Steelers, Little Koch and the Bengals. If I'm not mistaken, Little Koch won this division last season. I'm pretty sure I got that one right. But as I look at this
I think
one,
so.
Points for or points against, it ain't many times that you're going to look at these owners and see that points for, points against this radically close in both sides, because these teams usually, especially when it comes to Little Koch, when it comes to Denver, Pepper at times, Nipples at times, they know how to score on offense, and they all play really, really good defense. So this one looks a little lopsided. How do you see the AFC North playing out?
Yeah, it's a little unusual because most of the time you see these guys, they're all, and again, it's still we're early in the season, but most of the time, you're seeing like 2-1s across the board, or 2 or 3 teams 3-0 at this point in time. Ravens, Browns, Bengals, those guys, really know how to put the points up, and they build their rosters really well. So I think that it helps them a lot. But yeah, I think I got to give the edge to the Ravens. I think Nips seems like he's kind of got a solid team built for this season. I don't know about for further on in the rest of the seasons, but for this season, I think he's got a really good squad built, and I think he's going to be a problem. I know I played him, and his whole front defensive 7 all have stars. I mean, there is not one that is a normal dev, or they're all either superstar or X factors, and it was absolutely maddening to try to play offense against those guys. So I just had to kind of give the nod to him, not even looking at the rest of the guys' rosters. I just think he's got the edge at this point, but I think it's going to be competitive. I think the Browns and the Bengals and even the Steelers, Pepper, he's done some good things as well. So expect it to be pretty competitive, though.
I really thought the Bengals were going to be the team I'd pick here, but with 2 losses in a row, it sort of got me a little bit of a pause. I'm going just to be different. I'm going Browns in this one. They've started out 1-2, but all 3 games on the road. The Ravens, on the other hand, have had all these games at home, so he's sitting at 2-1. I think the Browns won the division last year. He's got a great team. He's going to get things figured out with all Madden. Give me the Browns to win that division, but I'm pulling for the Bengals. I want to see Denver back in there and back making some noise. AFC South, you got Roger and his Texans. He's in the chat. We got Big Hurt and the Jaguars. He's at work. That guy works all the time. Randy and the Colts. He's probably changing a diaper or two somewhere. And then Byron and the Titans. 3-1, 2-1, 2-1, 0-3. I would not have expected the AFC South to be so close this early. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there, especially with the impressive victory that Big Hurt had. Give me the Jaguars. That's right, the Jags to win the AFC South. And somewhere Randy's printing this out and putting it on his bathroom wall to see it every day for some bulletin board material. How do you see the AFC South playing out?
Yeah, he's gonna print that out and put it on a dartboard and throw darts at it every day. So, I mean, you gotta give Rodgers some props. 3-1, that's a really good start for him. But I'm gonna agree with you on this. I think the Jaguars. I think Big Hurt. There's something about it when I think the times we've played on all Madden. I think he's been like one of the best made deep playoff pushes. I think where we're all Madden, and I think it just kind of fits his style. And I think you're going to see a resurgence of Big Hurt this season. I don't like the fact that he's only put up 4 points more than his defense, but has allowed. But definitely, I think with that running back that he's got, and if he can protect the ball and play good defense, or at least solid defense, I think he's got a big opportunity to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, give me the Jags as well, and that's just double the bulletin board stuff for Randy.
Roger in the chat said, I'll return to my top 10 draft positions soon. I've just gotten lucky lately. I don't believe that, Roger. I thought for sure Mr. Maniac was going to go Colts or Texans. I thought for sure that's the way he'd go. So I was just trying to be a little different. That's going to be a fun division, though, to see how that one plays out the whole way. And I'm also interested to see, with Big Hurt, his work schedule. Can he kind of stay plugged in just enough? AFC East, you got Lost Sniper and the Patriots at 2-1. Joker and the Bills at 2-2. My guy has given up 161 points already. Massimo and the Dolphins at 1-2. James and the Jets at 0-3. How do you see the AFC East playing out?
Yeah, he's definitely the Bills, man. 161 points. That's got to be tops in the league, but he's probably also tops with points scored. So if he can figure out his defense, he's going to be scary. I'm going to go out and say I'm looking at Lost Sniper, the Patriots. He's had some really good games against some really tough opponents and barely lost those games. And so I think with his team that he's built also, he's been really good at building his team. I look to see him making a step forward this year and getting in the playoffs. And so give me the Patriots in this.
Look at me and you seeing things a lot similar to each other. I don't trust the Bills' defense at all. Massimo's got a lot on his plate, and poor James, I think, has just been busy and maybe kind of lost some pieces. Maybe he goes on a late season run here. I'm taking Lost Sniper too. I'm picking with my heart today. I want to see a Lost Sniper win this division. I think single-handedly, there's just like a couple of guys that are just unanimously loved in this league, and Lost Sniper is definitely one of them. Has built single-handedly, I think, the coolest tool that any league out there has. Maybe there are leagues that have it. I doubt it. I think we are one of a kind with that central coaching team hub that he has built for us. It's just amazing, and I'm pulling for him to win that AFC division. AFC West, you got Trey and his Chargers at 3-0. Jay Bowles and the Raiders, I didn't notice that, 3-0. Luca and the Chiefs at 2-1, and then Broncos and Jay Glaze at 1-2. It's hard to pick against Trey. My guy's giving up 35 points. Teams are giving up 35 points. If you're the Bills and Joker, you're giving up more than 35 points a game, much less the entire season. I think Trey feels like he is on a mission this year. Yeah, and I can't go any other direction. Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos, I think will all beat each other up. They'll give Trey a good run for his money, but the Chargers and Trey, I think, are going to win this division, running away at the end. How do you see the West playing out?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I mean, I'm impressed with the Raiders. I think he's built up a really good squad. Jay Bowles, and he plays like he's probably one of the top 5 offensive coaches we have in this league right now. I think looking at the points that he puts up and the scores that he puts up, I'm interested to see what happens in a game with these two guys playing against each other. We're gonna get that twice. So, I do think though, like you're, I mean, we're agreeing on everything. So I'm making the show like boring, I guess. But Trey, 35 points, man. That's, I mean, I mean,
crazy.
that's 3 games in and only 35 points given up. That is some major defensive.
I got to throw this out
game
real
planning.
quick. Vikings and Packers have 44 and 43 points total on the season, respectively. They have just barely more points than Trey's given up all season. That's just nuts to me.
Oh man, yeah, that's a crazy stat. So, and he's putting up good points as well. 92 points. So if you're holding opponents to that 35 and you're putting up so far on the season in those 3 games 92 points, I mean, you're just rolling. I mean, you're rolling. And I think Trey, like you said, I think he's kind of got a chip on his shoulder. I don't think he took that playoff loss very lightly that he had, and I think he's just ready to come out and prove that he is a top dog here, and he's coming for that Canadian trophy.
Yeah, when Trey gets on a mission like this, you just got to watch out. Let's talk about the NFC North. After talking about a division that everyone wants to win, let's talk about one that no one wants to win. I can't believe what I'm looking at. I'm not sure I've seen anything like this. We have 1 win in the entire division 3 weeks in. The 1 and 2 Bears are leading this division. Colin is winning the division at 1 and 2. Tim is at 0 and 3 with the Lions. Nysanger 0 and 3 with the Vikings. Priest 0 and 3 with the Packers. None of these teams have broken 90 points in the season, not even close to breaking that. All of them playing pretty good defense, though. It's just the offense that seems to get in the way. I'm not sure. We've seen some bad NFC Norths. We've seen some bad NFC Souths before. We've seen a couple of bad AFC from time to time, but I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this one. I don't know who to pick here. I don't know these schedules like the back of my hand. If I had to guess, I want to go Tim, but then you look, he's given up 103 points. That is not normal Tim football. You normally see him reverse in these numbers where he's scoring 103 and giving up 71. I'm waiting for Colin to break out. I'm not sure what's happening in Minnesota or Green Bay. Those pieces aren't coming together like I think both of those owners envisioned them coming together. If you look at the Madden power rankings here, you got the 23rd, 28th, 31st, and 32nd team in the league. We're only 3 weeks in, but that's not good football. I don't know who to pick, so give me Colin and the Bears at 1 and 2 to win this division. How do you see the North playing out?
As I say, this kind of gives me some Back to the Future flashbacks here with the like we always talk about. No one wanted to win the North, and it's like, and I think a kind of unique stat looking here, like every one of these teams in the North have given up more points than they've scored.
It's crazy.
Which is kind of a crazy stat, but and to think too, like, and I'm not giving Tim too hard of a time here saying this, but he was pushing for the number 1 seed last season in the playoffs, and I think he was number 2 seed if I'm not mistaken. So, and made it to the championship.
All Madden has not been nice to him.
No. So 0-3 start. That's got to be disappointing for him as well. Wow, I mean, you literally could just do a toss-up, I think, here. I mean, at this point, Priest has a chance. And most of the time at this point, we're always talking about, well, Priest is out of it already. 0-3. Everybody else is 3-0, 2-1 here. But yeah, I think Colin has probably the most well-rounded team so far because he's given up 77 points and scored 65. I think he'll eventually figure things out. I think Tim will as well. I think it'll come down to these two guys battling out. I think the Vikings and the Packers seem to be struggling on offense on these settings right now, and it may take them most of the season to kind of get things felt out. So, but give me the Bears. Colin, I think he's just he's the most seasoned owner in this situation. He's been there a lot of times in the past, and I think he has the better roster overall. So give me the Bears. But I think it's going to be we may see this be one of the teams that's has a losing record end up winning this one.
Raiders Chargers this week in week number 4. Jay Bow says, I got to say, is week 4 matchup against Trey is going to be fun. Talk about chip on his shoulder. He's had my number this whole Madden cycle. Let's talk NFC South, your old division. This is fool's gold. My Saints are 2-1. Cincy and the Falcons that I said was tanking, all in jest and a joke, is at 2-1 though. He is going to be leaving for a bit, and this record's probably going to tank. Panthers and Birdman at 1-2. Kevin and the Buccaneers at 1-2. But more shockingly than that, he scored the second least amount of points outside of my inept offense in this entire division. That is not what Kevin is known for. He's known for putting up tons of points, and just isn't happening early here in the all Madden cycle. How do you see your old stomping grounds playing out?
I'm really shocked that Bird's nearly given up 100 points. He's usually really efficient on defense. I know he's got the best offense so far right now, looking at the points for scored for him. But I've got to give it to you here. Right now, you're still filling out the offensive side, but man, your defense. I think you've built a really solid defensive front, and I think your back end players now that the guy that you drafted at free safety, I think he's going to be a stud. And then you've got a couple of cornerbacks that are kind of starting to find their role and only giving up 57 points so far. I mean, you're 1 point out of having the top defense in your division, points allowed. So that, to me, that's an impressive stat. And I think it's definitely going to come down between you and Bird, especially since he's going to be gone for a while. But I'm going to give the nod to you. I think this is going to be your season that the Saints win the division. And I always have to point out, Kev is another one of these guys. Every time we go to an all Madden, he struggles. Those windows, and I'll have a good game. I'm this way. I'll have a good game, and then I'll have a bad game. I'll throw 4 interceptions. The windows are so much tighter, and the guys react in those windows just a little bit faster. And so sometimes the time that you have to anticipate things is cut down a little shorter, and so it makes it tougher. And we all know Kev, he is a passing freak in this league, and so anytime he gets kind of out of rhythm, it throws him all off, and it takes him 2 or 3 seasons to really kind of get his footing back underneath him.
I will not be picking me, as everybody could already assume. I will not be picking Cincy because he's going to be gone for 2 weeks. And, man, that's going to be a pretty big hole to dig out of. Now, this week's game, tonight's game, Saints and Panthers, may be a little telling about my pick here. I'm picking Bird. I think Bird's going to do what Bird does. He's off to a semi-slow start here, but he's had a tough schedule. I've got a brutal schedule that starts here with Birdman. I think Bird and the Panthers are going to get things figured out. He'll make a run late. He'll get into the playoffs, and then he'll shock a bunch of people. My one caveat is how many games does Cincy actually miss? And when he comes back, is he push for it? Does he sort of ride the wave of just good draft pick? Like player development, what does he do there? He has a really, really good team. So I'm picking Birdman to make a run. It just all Madden has not started out in his favor, but I want to see what Cincy Bird does when he comes back and how many games he actually missed. Let's talk about the NFC East. We got Rod and the Commanders, your NFC representative in OMFL Bowl 117. He's off to a 3-0 start, playing good offense and great defense. So he's kind of doing it all. D-Wayne and the Cowboys off to a 2-1 start. Twinkie and the Eagles 1-2. And then Bill and the Giants, one I would not have guessed, at 1-3. I have for so long picked Dwayne and the Cowboys. It feels weird to even have the discussion of picking someone else, but we only have this very small window into Madden, all Madden and season 118 to make a decision of which way we're going to go. And the Commanders were the team that represented the NFC in OMFL Bowl 117. And so I'm torn. I'm going to go Rod and the Commanders. Maybe this becomes the second bulletin board material that I give out here today. Cowboys are putting up great offensive numbers, but something seems just like slightly off. I think he will do what I think Bird will do, and that's figure out how to play the game, call the game, build his team to put them in the best positions. The team's already built, but to put his team in the best position to win in season 118. But the Commanders seem to be off to a red hot start. They're playing great offense, great defense. I got to sort of stick with the guy that represented the NFC as a whole in OMFL Bowl 117 and think that he wins this division. What about you? How do you see the NFC East playing out here?
Yeah, I mean, the stat I'm looking at right now, early on in the season, I don't think I've ever seen this where Dwayne has more points scored against him than he's actually scored for himself. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Sure
Maybe even like you might have to go back 8 Maddens before you might find that stat. And so, but Rod has got his team rolling. He's picked up right where he left off, being in the bowl game. And his defense, I've kind of watched just a little bit of a couple of his games, and his defense just like is putting the lockdown on a lot of these offenses and stuff. So I've got to go with him. I mean, we've talked about that before. I've went with Dwayne so many times because he was always seemed like he was the guy as either him or D Money representing the NFC for so long. But Rod has kind of solidified himself with this last bowl game as he was the guy in the NFC, and he's picked up right where he left off. So until someone knocks the king off the hill, you kind of got to go with him.
I do think the Giants do what I think Bird will do, and Bill will figure it out with his team, and he will play much better in the second half. But shout out to Twinkie. I know his record isn't showing it at 1-2, but the points for, points against, like that gap is closing, and so you can see the progress. You can see the upward trajectory that he has with those Eagles, and we also seen him upset some people last season. NFC West, D-Money and the Rams. He seems back. You and your Cardinals, Zoe and the 49ers, and Meek and the Seahawks, everybody with a winning record. 3-0, 3-1, 2-1, 2-1, respectively. Boy, this is going to be a fun division. I'm going to let you talk about it last. I got to go D-Money. But, man, toss it up to any of these guys. I played D-Money, and it was like, holy cow, that was not fun. I mean, his 2 starting cornerbacks, I think, are both 99 overall with, like, 98 or 97 speed, 99 acceleration, 99 awareness, 99 man, 99 zone. Like, they're the best of the best. And those are his 2 starters, and his third is, like, 93 overall with 98 speed. So it's just like, okay, good luck passing the ball. I think the way to beat him is to hit your minimum passes, don't turn it over, and run the ball 25 times and hope that you can somehow break a few runs. I think you can run against him, but good luck to anybody that tries to pass on D-Money and the Rams. But, man, I love what I'm seeing out of Arizona. You've scored 113 points for 67 against. That is really good on both sides of that scale. Zoe and his 49ers with some big wins. A lot like me. He's got to get that offense figured out, but he's got the defense figured out. And Meek is Meek, man. Meek is just kind of owned this division the last couple of Madden cycles. Now, playoffs aren't always super kind to him, but he's owned the regular season. He's sitting here at 2-1 with a big win this past week. So this one's up in the air, but D-Money's team is so stinking good. It's sort of good luck covering his receivers. They're 95, 99 speed. It's just like good luck. They were 8 miles open every play. It just was stupid. How do you see your own division playing out?
Yeah, I've tried to study these guys' rosters pretty intently. D-Money by far has, like you said, I mean, even I think even like his fourth and fifth cornerback is probably the same overall as my starting cornerbacks on my team. So it's like, oh my goodness, and he is just the cornerback whisperer. I don't know. He just, but it makes it tough because when you go in and you try to, you think you have a game plan against him and you see some things working in other games, and you come in like, oh, I think I can do this with my, wide receiver core because I got a couple good wide receivers, and then lo and behold, like, oh, he's shutting you down. His cornerbacks are cutting on a dime, and they're running the route better than the wide receiver, and you're like, oh, what did I get myself into here? So, it's definitely his division. He's obviously he is not in tank mode this season, so he is coming out to play. I will say, though, it is interesting to see that I think our division may be the only one where everybody has more points scored than points against, which is kind of a unique thing. I didn't look intently at everybody, right, but I think it from just talking and remember. So that's kind of a big stat for our division, and I think we have the capability of we may have 3 playoff teams out of this division, and it may be kind of similar to what the NFC North is going through in real life right now. With everybody has a winning record, and you got a couple of people sitting out because it just the way the things happen. So, but nonetheless, this is going to be a very, I think, interesting division to keep an eye on, and I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I mean, but D-Money, he's got the chokehold on it right now. Until something happens, something changes, it's D-Money's.
It's hard to debate that, right? Like, I just think that team's really good, but all of you are playing really good football. Let's see where we're at in 6-7 weeks as we kind of get to the halfway mark and past, and hopefully all of you kind of keep that momentum going. It should be a really fun one. We've only got 2 games done and 1 game currently underway, so you're Arizona Cardinals beat Bill and his Giants 31-10. My guy said he was going to quit and delete this game. That's how badly you beat him. Roger and the Buffalo Bills. Roger and the Houston Texans beat Joker and the Buffalo Bills in Buddy Bowl number 3 or 4. I don't know what it is. 38-34. And then currently Denbrew and Priest are playing in a 10-10 game last time I checked.
Wow. In
the second quarter. So both of those teams kind of punching at each other. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to open up the OMFL mailbag, which has all the questions you could think about when it comes to all Madden. So when we come back, we'll open up the OMFL mailbag, and we'll talk about it.
Turf toe make you miss a kick, pulled hamstring snuff out your tush push, or emotional trauma from a drop pass costing you an OMFL bowl? Here at the Bull Medical Facility, we treat real injuries, the ones you think you got while playing beer league football. Whether you strained your eyes looking for your speed wide receiver, or a muscle cramp slamming on those hit sticks, or even the rare case of chokitis like me, we've got you covered. Bull Medical Facility, pro care for your not so pro pain. Just ask for Dr. Vikes MD.
Those are fun. I think they're a blast. I'm still pushing Tim and Dwayne to get me theirs. They came to me and they were like, we want to do one. I'm like, great. Here's what you got to do. I haven't heard from them since, so hopefully they can get me one. All right, let's go to Mr. Bull from Bull's Medical Facility. His first question, now that we have 3 competitive weeks on All Madden, what do you feel have been, or I'd say has been, the pros and cons so far? This is going to be interesting because I know Maniac is not a fan. Hint, hint, he is 3-1. Not a fan of all Madden. I'm not a fan either way. I just want the best, most competitive, fair gameplay we have. I think pro is we're seeing more reaction animations. I know a few of you, and we'll get to your questions in here, are not seeing those same animations, but I'm seeing more reaction more often than not. Con is we're going to get some weird animations. We've already seen the break tackle animations. Players are going to play superhuman at times. It sort of elevates the floor. My pushback of sort of having that happen is like the competitiveness in this league, and the skill level, that's the word I'm looking for, of this league has to get to a place where, like, if you're going to compete with some of the big dogs, then you got to have sort of the elevated floor a little bit. I like the theory of all pro. The more I play this game, Maniac, in all the aspects, coaching trees have been such a pain to figure out. They just dumbed. Again, they would argue with me, and Rod's here from the team, and maybe he could debate in a much more articulate way than I could. And I probably couldn't debate with him because he actually works there. But I just feel like they've like lowered the ceiling, the skill gap of this game so much because it's not made for us. It's not made for 45-year-olds. It's not made for 30. It's made for the 10 to 15, 17-year-old to play, right? And so we got to make it easy. We got to make it quick. We got attention spans of 10 seconds. So I'm not playing this game like we are for 5 seasons. I'm playing it for 1 season. So I need to be able to gain my coaching tree and build my coach up for 1 season quick and easy because I'm off to the next game in 2 months or whatever. And they're trying to get me to play it longer. And it's just like the game is not built for us. It isn't built for the way that we play it, which is why we have to have all these rules. And boy, I got on a little bit of a rant there. Didn't mean to. I like all Madden. I like the theory of all pro better. I just feel like the game has been dumbed down so much. And maybe dumbed down is a not fair word, and I shouldn't use that word. It's just been the skill gap has been lowered. The ceiling has been lowered so much. I just don't think people with our skill level, and I'm not skilled, but boy, we've got some super skilled level people here. Is so much so that we have to play on a harder level. And the only way to do that at all pro would be to have these radical sliders. And boy, Maniac and I and Roger know more than anything about sliders of anyone here. It's like you just chase your tail every update. You chase your tail every other week, every 10 days or whatever when they're dropping updates early. It's just not worth the headache. It's just not worth the radical shift that will happen with the sliders. So to me, you got to play a little bit higher level. What about you, Maniac?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not a fan of all Madden. I've never been. I've always felt and like with my little stint with the game changers and stuff. Like I said, it was always told me like all Madden was built to make these competitive guys have something that felt like that was competitive for them in an offline setting or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I have played and been better competitive since we've been on all Madden because I think in the first 2 seasons I only had like 9 total wins, and I'm almost to a third of that right now. So, but I think with the All Pro and the All Madden, I think it does come down to the fact, like you said, like the sliders. I mean, because I think All Madden is less affected with stuff, and so it just plays more consistently, even though that consistent setting may not be like what I really prefer or maybe others prefer. But then I think All Pro is a little bit more spazzy. It's kind of all over the place. Like I said, when they come up with an update, and you talked about us doing sliders. Oh my goodness, it's just a nightmare thinking about back on how we spent hours, days, messing with that stuff. And I think if they could ever get to the point where they could have the game that you get, and we get something fixed up on sliders. If we just wanted to keep those sliders and not update it for our league, I think that would probably be something that would help guys with that create leagues and stuff like that. Because you could
That's a good point.
make that play the way you want it and how it fits your league and stuff, and not be affected. So, but anyway, that's another.
Yeah, it'd be
theory.
interesting
And
to see if they could even do that. But that's an interesting
Right.
concept.
But I think too, like if you look at the coaching trees, and I think a lot of that stems back to Madden Ultimate Team. I do dabble in Madden Ultimate Team. For me, it's fun side thing to do just because I build my team on the side and collect the cards and different things like that. But it's built into that that mode has been that way for as long as I can remember, where you get a coach and it helps affect your guy's speed rating or whatever, different ratings and stuff. And I think they've tried to incorporate that into the franchise mode, so that way it draws in the younger crowd. And I can understand the concept behind it, but again, like we're seeing, if you do it right, if we didn't have no rules, you literally could stack 14 something
Yeah.
points
Yeah,
on one stat, so
and I
it
can't
just, it makes
control
no
how
sense.
fast you earn it. Like we could last cycle, you can't control that. It's just set, and so it just
Yeah.
happens too quick, and the boosts are too big, and it just doesn't fit for us. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I like the concept, I like the idea, I like the engagement. It fits a lot of boxes for me, but it's just it equally it doesn't in a lot of ways because it's too big, it's too invasive, it's too quick. I mean, we're only 3 seasons in, and guys, the winning teams here could literally stack, +8 speed for their entire team. Like, I don't know who thought that. Hey, this is a great idea. +8 speed for the entire team. It's like, what? No, why? I like all the
Yeah.
ones that are like chances, but these like actual boost, it's just like take those out. Like anyway, they took the steps with abilities, but they took a step back with the coaching tree. We got to hit our go gadget boost because I just realized it's 6:00. Dinner's ready.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
supposed to be done. On the season, he says Bill, Rod, or Twinkie to take the NFC East with Wayne being 2-1, but could easily be 0-3. So he's basically saying, can Bill, Rod, or Twinkie win the NFC East? You and I both picked Rod to win it. I think we see Twinkie and Bill already have a pretty big hole. Anything else you want to add there, though?
Yeah, I just think that Bill and Twinkie have done a good job building their squads, and if they can get things figured out, they're not that far behind at this point in time of the season, so they can make it interesting. But I'm all in on the Rod train right now because he is just looking unstoppable with his offense.
Denver says we currently have 4 undefeated teams, 2 from each conference: Commanders, Rams, Raiders, Chargers. Do you think the AFC and NFC champion is in this group? I do. I could see Commanders, Rams, Chargers. Raiders got a little bit to prove to me, especially this week against the Chargers, but I could easily pick 2 of those 3 teams to represent their 2 conferences. I don't think any of them will go completely undefeated. That's just very, very hard to do here. I guess it could happen. I wouldn't predict that to happen, but I could predict 2 of those 4 teams to represent each of their conferences. How about you?
Yeah, if things flow properly, this could be a matchup that we see for the NFC and AFC championship games here. I know it's a little different with the Chargers and Raiders both being in the same division, but if things work out properly, they could be in a little bit different bracket in the playoff and still face each other in the AFC championship game. But I think the Commanders and Rams and Chargers probably have the best opportunity to go undefeated if they do. And D-Money's done it before, so I would have to give the nod to him. But I think Trey could possibly sneak that in there as well. So that's going to be an interesting thing. But yeah, the championship could and probably will come from one of these guys here.
Joker said, what is everyone's thoughts on the defensive play after switching? My guys still seem to just sit there as the ball or ball carrier go by them. I'm not seeing that, Joker. Again, I believe you. You've played enough Madden that you know what you know. I haven't got to watch a lot of your games to be able to say why I think that may be happening. But there'll be the time and I'm fine with there being times where people don't react or play the ball right. Like, not everybody should play like they're 99 overall, right? We should see a 75 overall guy with 62 awareness play that way sometimes. But yeah, I find the defense is playing fairly well. The things that drive me nuts are always going to drive me nuts, and I get why Madden does it. I think one of the producers even talked about it, if like penalties. Like, I have seen a couple of weird animations. I've seen a warp catch, which I haven't seen that in a bit, but I've seen a warp catch in my last game with Priest. And then defensive pass interference, they just won't call it, man. You can completely move unless you're using a guy, it'll call it. But if you're not using a guy and the AI bumps another AI player, it just will not call defensive pass interference, no matter how far off they move them. And that kind of drives me nuts. Outside of that, I think it's playing. I'm seeing the changes I was hoping to see moving to all Madden. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, that it's still. I mean, it's a game. It's going to be quirky at times. So, I know my defense has played better. Like I said, today I actually had two CPU cornerback interceptions, and I hadn't had one of those in like 2 seasons. So I was all ecstatic and excited about that because go nearly 2 seasons and your cornerbacks didn't have one INT. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm probably still going to find times where I'm like, man, what are you doing? Why are you staring to the back of the end zone or whatever? Turn around. But there has been a little bit uptick in consistency for as like them actually looking and reacting. I think the SWAT animations are probably going to be the thing you're probably going to see more of. And I have seen more of it. The deflections and stuff. I've seen more of that than I have in the previous 2 seasons. So I would have to say it's definitely a pro.
Trey says, I see both conferences running through SoFi. I don't disagree with that. Roger says he got roasted today on some deep stuff while safeties just stood there. I think anyone who uses a defensive lineman, you deserve to get roasted in the backfield. He also said pass interference is a rumor. I think that's hilarious. That should go on a T-shirt, and that may be our next T-shirt idea. And I still can't generate a pass rush worth of poop without some types of blitzes. I actually find decent pass rush when I don't blitz. It's when I blitz I can't get there. It's weird. I also don't have great pass rushers. Bill says, do you like your team's home or away uniforms better? Home. I think the classic Saints homes are the best. What about you?
I kind of like the all white aways. I don't know. I don't know if it maybe kind of pulls me to the University of Texas nostalgia of all whites, the icy whites. But I do like the all white because I think it does look kind of cool that way and stuff. So
he also asked,
I'm
sorry. He also asked, do you find our questions dumb at times? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say what Maniac won't. Yes. What makes me laugh are not the dumb questions like that, which I'm gonna give you credit for today because you made us laugh. Or the ones where we like change one word to ask the same question a different way, either weeks in a row or someone else's question. We just slightly change the wording to basically ask the same. It's like, come on, y'all. We got to be a little bit more creative than that. Tim says, now that the field is set, what is your Super Bowl prediction for the NFL playoffs? That's a tough one. I'm so just like a Saints guy, and then I get into the playoffs when the Saints season is over. I like New England. NFC, there's something about Philly knowing how to get there and be there, and they've just like quietly turned things around this season. So I'm just off the cuff. I'd go with those two teams, but I don't know. It should be a fun one. It's sort of in the air. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the air. And to be honest, like I don't know who all has made it to the playoffs because all I know is my team stunk. And so, I kind of zoned out the last 3 weeks after Dallas was just like abysmal. So, but I will say that I'm intrigued with. I know the Seahawks won their division, but the Rams, I think, are one team with Stafford. Stafford is like the X factor that can create things and make things happen. And he is about as old as everyone's grandpa, nearly almost. But he just, I don't know, he's a good quarterback. So I see him making a run, and I think this might be. I know the Bills' defense is not real well, but man, Josh Allen just kind of seems to always make big plays too and stuff. So I think it would be a nice Super Bowl with the Rams and the Bills.
Tim says, what are your New Year's resolutions, if any? I personally don't do resolutions. I think goals are great, resolutions are great, whatever it takes to get movement. But I also don't do like a lot of gifts for my wife. We don't do gifts for each other. Not because we've got this like weird stance of like we don't buy each other gifts. It's the same thing for resolutions for me. It's like I try to live a life of discipline and like moving in the direction I want. I don't wait till New Year's or wait till an anniversary or wait till Valentine's Day to do something special for my wife. I try to live a life where it's like, if she wants something, we get it for her. It doesn't matter if like his birthday's not coming up or is coming up. You know what I'm saying? So like same thing for New Year's resolutions for me. I just try to live a disciplined life that's moving in a positive direction for me. What about you? Do you resolutions?
Definitely make, I guess it could be called a resolution, like trying to make goals. I know normally like the major one is always, to be healthy, healthier than what I was the previous year. And I have gotten better at that. So, this year is maybe taking up a step further. I will say there's one for the league. I was going to start laughing if I said it, but try not to say I hate Madden this year.
That's never going to happen. I got to set realistic goals here. He says, record-wise, what are the big surprises, early disappointments? I feel like we covered a lot of them, but I would say Raiders at 3-0, surprise. Texans at 3-1, surprise. Cardinals as dominant as you have been, that's been the surprise. Not that you're winning, but as dominant as that you've been has been a surprise. Jaguars at 2-1, the big surprise, the win over the Colts. Cowboys at 2-1, but the surprise is not that they're 2-1, but how they've gotten there. That's been a surprise. Chiefs at 2-1 probably shouldn't be a surprise, but is a bit of a surprise. Bengals at 1-2, Browns at 1-2, Panthers at 1-2, Bucks at 1-2. The entire NFC Central is a surprise, or NFC North. I always mess it up. Whatever it is, Bears, Packers, Lions, all them. Those are all a big surprise to me. Anything that we missed here?
No, I would say probably the biggest one is the NFC North. I mean, all the points being scored against, and these guys, most of these guys have been offensive juggernauts, the last couple of seasons, and now, they're not putting many points out. So I think that's probably the biggest surprise so far.
A nice songer asks again the All Madden question a different way. He says, what's the biggest difference that we are seeing between All Madden and All Pro? For me, it's just the reactions on both sides of the ball. Even offensive line, I find that they react a little bit better. Again, it's just the floor to me has been brought up just a notch, and I feel like we needed that. I think for me, it is that the reactions on both sides of the ball is better. Anything you want to add there?
I would say probably for me so far, the offensive line targeting the next player to block. I mean, you can kind of look at my yards. So far, I've rushed the season 535 with Benson. I just think it's kind of helped me. That's probably been one of the best things that's happened for me so far. I know, like one of my biggest gripes was that my guys would never block, like keep going. There's a guy right in front of you, why you turn around, keep going, that's that kind of thing. So I think like offensive line targeting has been probably the biggest and best surprise for me.
Prediction show in the books and over the time, just like we normally do our budgets here at the OMFL Press Pass Live. Give me one final thought, and then I'm going to eat dinner before my wife cracks open the store and goes, "What are you doing?"
Oh, over and under naked's in trouble. No, I think it's a good show, man. I really enjoyed getting back and swinging of things and getting on here with you and chatting about the league. Chat too much sometimes, but
you did awesome.
Definitely enjoy it, and I'm interested to see how the rest of the season unfolds because we've already got some surprises. We've already talked about those, so see if those surprises continue or if guys are able to kind of dig out of that and figure things out. So.
Yep, I agree. It should be a fun end of the season, and let's see how we all feel about All Madden by the time we get to week 9, 10. It probably will have some pretty different views on both sides of it, and we'll see how it plays out. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Maniac, for coming and doing the show. We're going to try to move to Friday afternoons. This one's a little in question because Mr. Maniac's got to get his kiddos back to college, but we'll figure something out. We're going to try to move to Friday around 12/1, somewhere in there. Roger, no, we cannot advance tonight. Stop it. I need some 5-day advances in there. Anyway, I appreciate Maniac for making some time. Guys, I got to get out of here and go eat supper. I'm telling you that it's cooked. It smells delicious. My wife's going to wonder what the heck I'm doing, so I got to get out of here. Love you. Take it easy. Take care of each other, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Deuces.
Smash that like and subscribe.